Hi all, we are going to start our new chapter, that is force and laws of motion. As the name suggests, it is Newton's laws of motion because it's introduced by the eminent scientist Sir Isaac Newton. That's why it is known as Newton's laws of motion. There are three laws of motion that we will be discussed. First, let us discuss about force. What do you mean by force? In the smaller classes, you have learned what is a force means. You have learned that a push or pull on an object is known as force. Actually, it is not right completely because a push or pull is an effect of force, and the force cannot be seen, but the effect of the force on an object can be seen or felt. For example, if we push a desk, it moves. If you apply enough force on it, you may be able to move the desk or a table. Or if you apply some force, you may be able to lift a bag which is full of books. So many activities which are doing every day in your day-to-day life by applying force, and you cannot see force exactly what force exactly you are doing, but you are able to see the effect of force, or you may be able to feel the effect of force. And force is an external influence which, when applied on a body, can bring about changes in it. If you see this video, you can see that the ball was stationary for a moment and the player was kicking the ball. It started moving, its direction changes, its position changes. All those are the changes which happens when an external force is given by the player on the ball. So we can see that what are the changes we can bring about when a force is applied. As you have seen right now, if the ball is stationary, or any object if it is stationary, if you apply enough force, you may be able to change the position of an object, or you may be able to bring the object from rest to motion, or you may be able to change the direction of motion, or you may be able to change the speed of an object, or you will be able to tend to change the speed of an object. What do you mean by tend to change? There will be a tendency to change the direction, or change the speed, or change the position of an object. That may not move. If you are exerting enough force, it will be moving, but the object will be having a tendency to change its position when you apply a smaller force also, is it? Yes. And you will be able to change the size of an object, shape of an object, like that. Okay, so a force is a physical quantity, and we have already learned in the last chapter when we discussed about scalar and vector quantity. I have already said force is a vector quantity which is having both magnitude as well as the direction, and it is a physical quantity. So a force is a physical quantity which causes or tend to cause a motion in an object at rest, or changes or tend to change the direction of a moving object, or changes or tend to change the size and shape of an object, or changes or tend to change the speed of an object. So what are the changes which we can brought about in a body? You may be able to change the position of an object. You may be able to change the direction of an object. You may be able to change the speed of the object or change the size or shape of an object. If you see this picture, you can understand that the ball started moving when he is kicking. Is it? Its direction changes continuously and the speed of the ball will be also changing and its position also changing. So you may be able to bring about either of these changes or some of these changes together, like position, direction, speed, all together can be brought when we apply a force. Okay, or either if you are applying a force on a book, you just pull it or push it, or if you just pull out the drawer of the table, or if you just push or pull a door, all these are examples of force which you exerted every day. And next we will be discussing about balanced force. What do you mean by balanced force? Means there should be two forces, like equal forces acting in opposite direction, which does not changes the state of rest or state of motion, are called balanced force. As you have seen in this example, I have given two examples here. If you take the second example, two men are pushing the car. Okay? When two men are inserting equal amount of force, will the car be pushed to any side? No. If they are doing the same activity for the whole day, the car will not move, because the person who is at the back will be trying to push the car towards forward, and the person who is at the front is trying to push the car towards the back. And in effect, what will happen? The car remains at rest itself. Like that, when two men are pulling a block is situated on a table which is at rest, and two men with a chain, they are pulling it towards their side, and when they are applying equal forces which are applying in their own direction, that is opposite direction, F1 is towards the first person's direction and F2 is the force which is applied towards the second person's direction. So both directions are opposite. So if equal and opposite forces are applied, there won't be any change in the position of that block. Or else, if an object is continuing in its state of motion, if the object is moving with a velocity, if the balanced force is applied on it, you won't be able to change the speed or velocity of an object. Okay. So as you have seen in tug of war, you all have seen this game. This tug of war, when we will be pulling the rope towards our direction, if we are applying equal amount of force in both sides, then the rope will not move. For example, what is the unit of force? It is Newton. So a 300 Newton force is applied by the left side peoples and 300 Newton force is applied by the right side people. If that is, they are applying equal amount of force and they are applying in opposite direction, what is the effect? The rope will not move to any of these sides. But what about the second case? In the second case, left side peoples are applying 400 Newton force and the other side is applying 300 Newton force. What will happen? To which direction the rope will be moving? The rope will be moving where the force is greater. That is, which force is greater? Yes, towards the left side it is 400 Newton. That is greater than 300 Newton. So, the rope will move towards, will be pulled towards the left side. Okay? That is towards the 400 Newton force. So, let us discuss about unbalanced force. An example I have already shown. An unbalanced force occurs when one force is greater than its opposite force. The first force, that is 400 Newton, is greater than 300 Newton. That's why the rope is pulled towards this 400 Newton, that position, towards that position. Okay. So, an unbalanced force can cause the object to speed up, slows down, stop, or change the direction of an object. If an object is moving with a certain speed, if there is an unbalanced force applied on it, then the speed can be increased. And also at the same time, that unbalanced force can slow down the speed of an object. Or if the ball is rolling on the floor, you just apply a force. If that unbalanced force is good enough, then you will be able to stop the ball, is it? Or you may be able to change the direction of the object. Okay? So, what is meant by balanced force and unbalanced force? A balanced force is that when two forces of equal magnitude but acting in opposite direction on an object simultaneously, then the object is in its state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line. Hope you understood, and you must remember this term simultaneously. That means at the same time these two forces must be acted on the body. And what is meant by unbalanced force? When two forces of unequal magnitude act in opposite direction on an object simultaneously, then the object moves in the direction of larger force. So, when a balanced force is acting on a body at rest, what will happen to that body? It remains at rest because the balanced force will not cause any change in it. If the object is at rest, it continues to be at rest. But when an unbalanced force acts on a body which is at rest, it begins to move in the direction of the unbalanced force. So, whichever is the greater force, to that direction it started moving. And when a balanced force is acting on a moving body, it continues to move in the same direction with the same speed. There won't be any change. You cannot speed up or slows down the motion of an object if a balanced force is applied on it. Okay, that is, no net external force is required to move the object with constant velocity. Okay. So, if it is in the case of when an unbalanced force is applied on a moving body, what will happen? Its velocity changes. That means we may speed up or slows down or change the direction of an object. Okay. When the object is in motion, you may be able to change its velocity. So, that is, unbalanced force acting on a body accelerates or retards the motion of the body. So, hope you understood what is force and what is meant by balanced force and what is unbalanced force means. Is it? Thank you.